Welcome aboard the Pullmantur Sovereign for an all-inclusive cruising adventure through the romantic Mediterranean. Celebrated in song and dance, the inspiration for countless artists and lovers, birthplace of empires ancient and modern, it is truly one of the most important bodies of water in the world and the playground for our next adventure. From the vibrant street life of Barcelona to the ruins of ancient Carthage in Tunisia, walk the haunted streets of old Pompeii, marvel at the stunning architecture of Rome and Florence, and finally, the glamour of Monte Carlo. This dream cruise has it all. And how better to enjoy it than on a ship as stunning as the Sovereign, with a crew who has built its reputation for offering the most intimate, attentive, and knowledgeable experience imaginable. So come and ride the waves of the Mediterranean Sea on Dream Cruises. An impressive 268 meters long, the Sovereign joined the fleet in 2008 when she was completely remodeled with all the latest amenities. Offering Pullmantur's unique all-inclusive cruising experience, she will be our home as we cruise the waters of the Mediterranean. Our dream cruise departs from Barcelona, Spain, and will be stopping at La Goulette in Tunisia, Naples, Rome, and Florence in Italy, and on to Monte Carlo in Monaco. Barcelona is our port of departure, so let's settle in on board and take a look around. The Pullmantur experience can be felt the moment you step on board. From breezing through reception to the crew members who can't wait to tour you around your ship.
Mis amores, vengan.
With 1,162 staterooms and 14 decks, this vessel is a wonder of floating luxury, offering you the flexibility to choose the accommodation that best fits your needs. If a private balcony is just what you're looking for, Deck 10 has several categories of suites to choose from. With a dozen elevators, 9 bars, 5 restaurants, gaming rooms, shops, and beauty salons, just some of the pleasures that await, we're sailing the Mediterranean on a veritable floating resort. Don't worry about finding your way around. Your guided tour will get you oriented. And in addition to the helpful crew always eager to point out something new, you can always consult the deck plans strategically placed around the ship. Since we won't be setting sail for a couple of hours and our baggage is all on board, we have some time to take advantage of one of the most beautiful cities in the world, Barcelona. With so much to see, we could easily lose ourselves for a week or a lifetime in Barcelona. But with a little advice from our helpful crew, we've picked an easy introduction to Spain's second largest city. Barcelona's public spaces are a mix of vibrant life and quiet intimacies, and it's not long until we come across some of the architecture that makes the city famous. About a kilometer from port, the Barcelona Cathedral is at the heart of the city's Gothic quarter. Dedicated to Saint Eulalia, one of 2 patron saints of Barcelona, the cathedral was begun in the 13th century over the crypt of a Visigothic chapel at the highest point of the Old City. The neo-Gothic facade was added in the 19th century, covering what had been a nondescript exterior common to Catalan churches. Leaving the cathedral, we will slowly make our way back to the ship while soaking up Barcelona's charming atmosphere. Today's our lucky day. At the Plaça del Pi, near the cathedral, local merchants and artisans have gathered for the Fira Artesana. Once a month, Catalan food producers gather here to sell their products. It is a real festival of colors, aromas, and flavors. Also known as the Honey Market, it is as popular with the locals as with visitors for its cakes and flavored cheeses. Next, we'll continue down towards the marina to walk along the grand promenade that runs along the beach. Here, we can really get a feel for the Barcelones, jogging or talking intimately amongst friends. It's easy to forget we're just visiting as we immerse ourselves in the fabric of Barcelona's daily life. We don't want to lose ourselves completely in the rhythms of Barcelona's Catalonian charms, because it's time to get back on board to finally meet the real star of this dream cruise, the Mediterranean. We have spent our first night aboard the Sovereign. This morning, we are treated to our first Mediterranean sunrise. As the beams warm the morning air, we can see why Homer used the epithet, the rosy-fingered dawn. The top deck is a great place to get some morning exercise, and the calm waters and mild weather are ideal conditions to enjoy our first day at sea. Today is a cruising day as we make our way towards La Goulette, the port of Tunis, the capital of Tunisia. On deck 12, the crew is already hard at work making sure everything is perfect for our day at sea. Attention to detail is what separates a dream cruise from just any other cruise. One deck below, the staff of the Panorama Buffet have also been hard at work for some time now. The staff is always ready with a smile, and you can find just about anything. Divided into hot and cold food and drinks, it's a breakfast lover's delight. The cold buffet has fresh fruit, cheese, croissants, chocolate croissants, and all kinds of yogurts. The hot buffet features hearty traditional fare, Mediterranean specialties like meatballs and sauce, grilled tomatoes, apple crepes, scrambled eggs with chorizo, even a delicious smoked salmon omelet. To complement your meal, there's a wide selection of juices and hot beverages. Enjoy your breakfast with the Panorama Buffet's stunning view. A day at sea is the perfect time to see more of what the ship has to offer. In the mood for tennis with the whole family? How about a game of mini tennis on deck 11? Increasingly popular for all ages, mini tennis is played on a surface about the size of a badminton court, with lighter rackets, making it easier for young children. It's a great activity for the whole family, and has even started to become popular with professional players looking for a change from their regular game. For an even smaller racket sport, but arguably no less competitive, there's table tennis. Since 1988, table tennis, or ping pong, has been an Olympic sport. There may not be any gold medals or international media coverage, but that's not stopping us from stepping up to the table and giving it our all. While exercising the body is essential, mental stimulation is equally important. And on our dream cruise, sometimes there's nothing better than settling in with a good book in a comfortable chair. The ship's library is on Deck 4 and offers many works in several languages. Amidship, the three-story Centrum is an ideal gathering place for many group activities. Today, there's a culinary demonstration by the ship's chefs. Pay close attention to these master chefs at work. Today's presentation gives us a hint of what awaits us in Italy, with the impossibly light, creamy delicacy, tiramisu. Afterwards, the chefs are eager to share some of their secrets, and perhaps more importantly, some of their unctuous creations. If that's not sweet enough for you, there's even more in store. Grab a skewer of fresh fruit and head to the giant chocolate fountain. Just try not to get carried away. On this all-inclusive dream cruise, there's always plenty of food for everybody, so resist the urge to dive right in. Let your day at sea unfurl at whatever pace you like. Soon it will be cocktail hour, and we can head up to the Spinnaker Bistro Cafe on Deck 5. Located next to the casino, we can enjoy a drink while listening to music. With both a sampling of the traditional music of our ports of call and famous international hits, members of the crew are ready to entertain us. After this musical interlude, it's time for this evening's main event. We've been invited by the captain to the Broadway Lounge for his welcome gala. The captain wants to introduce his crew, so it's our chance to dress to the nines, mingle, and enjoy this festive occasion. We can have our photo taken by the ship's photographer, and after the captain's cocktail, night owls can hit the disco. On Deck 8, we'll find the Zoom Disco. Open until the wee hours, the disco is the best place to cut loose and dance to the rhythms of the world's greatest hits. If all that dancing gets you peckish, a variety of sweets is offered at midnight. Stay up as late as you like, but just remember, tomorrow we're visiting La Goulette in Tunisia. Before the sun has chased away the night, the captain has brought the ship into port at La Goulette, Tunisia. We want to make the most of our stopover, so everyone is eager to get ashore. Our next stop is Italy, and we'll set sail in the early afternoon. A few steps from the ship, we are greeted by musicians playing traditional music. This double-skinned drum is called a tabla and can be played by hand or with drumsticks. The other instrument is a mizwad, meaning literally a sack or food pouch. It is a type of bagpipe native to Tunisia, consisting of a skin bag with a joined double chanter terminating in 2 cow horns. We're lucky to be able to join in the fun and even try on a traditional Tunisian hat called a sheshia. Some more locals have come to greet our ship. Camels. Often called ships of the desert because they've hauled people and merchandise through the desert for centuries, these highly adapted mammals are emblematic of Tunisia, a third of which is covered by the Sahara Desert. Traditionally, camel drivers have worn turbans to protect themselves from the sun and blowing sand. So what better way to remember meeting these magnificent beasts than with a photograph? Now it's time to leave the port of La Goulette and head towards the town of Sidi Bou Said. 'Sidi Bou Said' is the capital of Tunisia. It's the birthplace of the French artist and poet Embark. 'Sidi Bou Said' is the name of the city where the iconic Trevi Fountain is located. 'Sidi Bou Said' is the name of the city where the iconic Trevi Fountain is located. Now it's time to leave the port of La Goulette and head towards the town of Sidi Bou Said. Tourism in Tunisia is fairly recent. It wasn't until around the 1960s that European and international visitors started to come. In Sidi Bou Said and other parts of the country, the economic windfall for merchants, restaurant owners, and artisans has been amazing. Starting with a capacity of only 4,000 beds, the country now boasts over 100,000, and 7 million visitors come every year. The warmth and eagerness to share the culture of the Tunisians is infectious. It certainly keeps people coming back and has led to the creation of nearly 100,000 jobs. From traditional metalworking and pottery to restaurant owners and tour guides, the people of Sidi Bou Said welcome us with open arms. Tunisia is also part of a new tourist circuit for young people and budget travelers. It's one of the stops on what's called the New Hippie Trail, after some of the earlier grand circuits made famous by travel writers like Paul Theroux. While the recent history and culture of Tunisia is fascinating, it's only just scratching the surface. It's time to visit one of the best-known ancient cities in the world, Carthage. The origins of Carthage are lost in the mists of history, having been purposefully destroyed when conquered by the Romans at the end of the Third Punic Wars. What is known is that in the 10th century before Christ, a people called the Phoenicians spread their trading empire out from Tyre in modern Lebanon. At its height, the Carthaginians threatened Rome itself when Hannibal, their most famous son, marched his elephants over the Alps into northern Italy. Listed as a World Heritage Site by UNESCO since 1979, the archaeological remains of magnificent villas from the time of Roman rule are definitely worth seeing. Today, artisans reproduce artifacts of the glory that was Carthage for visitors to enjoy. It's time to get back on board the Sovereign. At 1 o'clock, we sail for Italy. Once we're settled back in, let's enjoy a cocktail at the Panorama Bar on Deck 11. What makes this dream cruise special is the warmth and attention of the staff. You really get the feeling of being in the best company. Now that we've enjoyed the afternoon at sea, why not get a little exercise on Deck 12? Located at the rear of the ship, a climbing wall offers several routes for all types of climbers, from the simple beginner to more experienced mountaineers. Although it might seem strange to attempt such feats of daring while at sea, with the right equipment and a certified instructor, everyone can ring the bell at the top of their chosen path. And for a little extra treat, why not try the wall at the end of the day? It's the perfect vantage spot to watch a beautiful Mediterranean sunset as the Sovereign slips through the waves. Once again, we awake aboard the Sovereign to a glorious Mediterranean sunrise. We will be arriving in Naples very soon. If you're not in the mood for a full breakfast, why not enjoy a good coffee on the deck and watch as the Neapolitan pilot comes aboard to bring us safely into port? A pilot is often a former ship's captain, whose local knowledge of tides, sandbars, and channels help the captain and crew navigate more safely. Naples is the capital of Campania and the third largest municipality in Italy. Over the centuries, it has been the capital of duchies, kingdoms, and one empire, and we can see the mixture of this history in the city's architecture as we approach. The Castel Nuovo, built for the medieval kings of Naples at the start of the Angevin dynasty, greets us as we come ashore. Everywhere we turn is alive with culture and history, like the Piazza Plebiscito, one of the largest squares in Naples, named to commemorate the plebiscite that brought Naples into the Kingdom of Italy in 1863. With the Church of San Francesco di Paola on the west and the Royal Palace to the east, people still gather here to debate the business of the day. Like where to go for lunch. Given that we're in Naples, how about pizza? While pizza's origins are the subject of much contention, with some claiming Egypt, others Greece, and still others Rome for the birthplace of this delicious staple, what is not disputed is that it was the Neapolitans who first added tomatoes and olive oil to a dough that they spread into a circle. In the beginning, pizza was considered to be food for the poor. Costing next to nothing, just a penny, the historians say, pizza often constituted breakfast, lunch, and dinner to a majority of Neapolitans. From these humble origins, pizza has lit the world on fire, becoming one of the most widely served dishes in the world. And while plenty of cheap pizza still exists, nowadays upscale versions are often offered in the most trendy restaurants. So when in Naples, eat like a Neapolitan. And if there's one thing that goes great after a steaming hot pizza, it's another Italian specialty, ice-cold gelato. Gelato, from the Latin gelatus, meaning frozen, is made with milk, cream, sugar, and flavorings, and dates back to Roman and Egyptian times, when snow and ice were hauled from mountaintops and preserved underground. Nowadays, things are a bit simpler, and as the Italians say, a mouthful of gelato is a taste of paradise. There's another mountain nearby, which has gone down in history for a much more fiery contribution. The city of Pompeii lies less than 25 kilometers from Naples, and it's here that a larger-than-life giant awaits. Vesuvius, at 1,200 meters, this still-active monster is considered one of the most dangerous volcanoes in the world. With 3 million people living nearby, it is the most densely populated volcanic region in the world, and the site on August 24, 79, of one of the most famous natural disasters in history. We are standing on the ruins of Pompeii, a city that in 2 short days was literally buried under a rain of ash and mud. The people living nearby were so used to minor tremors from Vesuvius that Pliny the Younger wrote they were not particularly alarming because they are frequent in Campania. But this time was different. In all, 4 cities were completely destroyed, with Pompeii being frozen in time until 1599, and then more completely uncovered in 1748. As the city was slowly exhumed, the excavators discovered voids in the ash layer, where the trapped bodies of Pompeii's inhabitants had petrified. Plaster casts were made to preserve the forms of Vesuvius's victims. Pompeii has revealed much about ancient Roman culture, such as many frescoes and artifacts of an erotic or sexual nature, leading some to claim that Pompeii's destruction was a sign of divine retribution. In any event, the weight of history in this place is humbling. An entire city wiped out by this magnificent mountain that had watched over them for so long. Our day in Naples is drawing to a close. It's time to head back to the ship to get ready for dinner. Tonight, we dine at El Duero on Deck 4. After a warm reception and courteous attention as we choose our meal, the staff has something up their sleeve. They start to sing, napkins swirl in the air, and before we know it, the dancing has begun. The dining room is transformed into a festive ball, and no one is immune. Soon we're joining in the fun as everyone cuts loose after our day's adventure. This is just one more way that Pullmantur makes us feel like we're part of the family. Once the zaniness has passed, it's time to eat. It's spontaneous moments like this that help break the ice with both other guests and the crew. There's nothing quite so bonding as a surprise conga line while aboard a luxury cruise liner. Enjoy the night. Tomorrow, we visit Rome. We've traveled less than 200 kilometers from Naples to arrive at the port city of Civitavecchia, our gateway to Rome. Located 80 kilometers northwest of Rome, Civitavecchia has a long history, having been built on top of an existing Etruscan settlement. Today, it's a major hub for ferries and cruise ships, and where our chartered bus will meet us to take us to the first stop of the day, the Great Circus. In the Roman world, games and circuses were as important to the populace as professional sports are for us today. While the so-called games were often scenes of bloody gladiatorial contests, the circuses mostly involved chariot racing, where the winners could take home vast sums. And no circus was greater than the Circus Maximus. Built in the valley between the Aventine and Palatine hills, it was the first and greatest stadium in ancient Rome and could accommodate 150,000 spectators. It was also used for giant religious processionals, but fell out of use with the rise of Christianity. The last known beast hunt was in 523, and the last known chariot races in 549. Our next stop is Rome's most iconic building, the Flavian Amphitheater, more commonly known as the Colosseum. Started around 70 AD under the Emperor Vespasian, the top level was completed by his son Titus in 80. Used for massive gladiatorial contests, animal hunts, reenactments of sea battles, and other public spectacles, in the medieval period it was reused for housing, workshops, a quarry, and even a Christian shrine. Most of the damage to the Colosseum is the result of earthquakes, and often, rather than rebuild, stones were taken for other structures, such as the St. Peter's Basilica. In front of the Colosseum, the Arch of Constantine, built in 315, spans the Via Triumphalis, the road taken by the emperors when they returned to the city in triumph. Its sculptural style marks a distinct break with the classical Greek canon of forms during the late Roman period. Heads are larger, with faces cut rather than modeled. Trunks are square, with the size of the figures underlining differences in social standing. What was behind these changes has been discussed endlessly, whether the result of political upheaval or simply changes in taste and fashion. As we follow the Via dei Fori Imperiali, a roadway built by Mussolini to link his office with the seat of ancient Roman power, we head towards the center of Rome and the Trevi Fountain. This Baroque masterpiece, built in the 18th century, is one of the most popular attractions in the country and sits at the mouth of a Roman aqueduct, the Aqua Virginia, that is still in use. Immortalized in countless photographs and movies, such as Fellini's La Dolce Vita, it is a popular spot for lovers young and old to come and make a wish. Legend has it that if you throw a coin in the fountain, one day you will get the chance to return to Rome and retrieve it. Today, visitors from all over the world come here and flip a coin to keep the custom alive and in the hopes of visiting Rome again. All in all, every year, more than $1 million is collected and given to charity. So at the very least, some wishes are coming true. It's almost time to head back to the ship, but as one visit is not enough to see all of Rome that we'd like, before we go, let's make sure to make that wish. If you've still got some coins jangling in your pocket, once we're back on board and at sea, let's visit the Casino Monte Carlo on Deck 5. Try your luck with the slot machines. Or table games like roulette. Your croupier will be happy to get you ready for Monte Carlo, so don't be afraid to ask any questions you might have. You can enjoy a drink at the bar while watching the game on TV. Or if you're too young for the casino, the video arcade might be the perfect spot for you. Hone your skills on all the latest games, as well as timeless classics. Whether it's games of chance or shooting robots, Deck 5 has something for you. Just be sure to head up to bed before it gets too late. Tomorrow, we still have 2 important Italian cities to visit. As our crew guides us once again smoothly to shore, the sun is rising on the port of Livorno as we prepare to visit 2 of Italy's greatest jewels, Pisa and Florence. Our first stop this morning is the city of Pisa, by the mouth of the river Arno on the Tyrrhenian Sea. Pisa's most famous square is the Piazza dei Miracoli, or Square of Miracles, deemed a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1987. The novelist Gabriele D'Annunzio gave the square its name because he deemed the buildings miracles of beauty, and we can see why. We could easily lose ourselves here for hours. The Duomo is a 5-naved cathedral dedicated to St. Mary of the Assumption and the seat of the Archbishop of Pisa. The baptistery stands just west of the Duomo and is dedicated to St. John the Baptist. The largest baptistery in Italy, it was built in Romanesque style and begun in the mid-17th century. And of course, perhaps the most famous campanile, or freestanding bell tower in the world, the Leaning Tower of Pisa. At 14,500 metric tons, its distinctive tilt started while the tower was still under construction, a process that occurred in 3 stages and over 344 years. The tilt is caused by the foundation being inadequately built over soft ground. Before restoration work between 1990 and 2001, the tower leaned over even more. But now the top is just under 4 meters from where it should be if it was perfectly vertical. We can climb the 300 steps to the top if we like, but only small groups are accepted at a time. Or we can browse the many souvenirs. And who can resist posing for a photograph? Who knows, if enough of us just give it a little push. We've got time to grab a quick bite. Then it's back on the road to visit the birthplace of the Renaissance, Florence. Founded in 80 BC as a settlement for veteran soldiers, it was first named Fluentia due to its location between the Arno and several minor rivers. The settlement's fortunes waxed and waned as it was conquered by Ostrogoths and Byzantines in turn. Charlemagne annexed the city to Tuscany in 774, and the seeds of its future prosperity were sown as it became an important commercial center. The wool trade led the foundation for the rise of the Medici banking family, and by the 15th century, Florence was one of the largest cities in Europe, and Florentine money, or florins, financed industrial development, the wars of English kings, and Catholic popes. They also financed the monuments, churches, and buildings that led Florence to be called the cradle of the Renaissance, such as the Cathedral Santa Maria del Fiore, which boasts the largest brick-and-mortar dome in the world. Consecrated in 1436, the exterior of the basilica features polychrome marble panels in shades of green and pink. The neo-Gothic facade, completed in 1887, replaced an earlier unfinished version, but only after intrigue and corruption surrounded the competition and much scandal. 3 huge bronze doors, completed in 1903, feature scenes from the life of the Madonna. Across from the Santa Maria is the Baptistry of St. John, one of the oldest buildings in the city, built between 1059 and 1128. It is famous for the relief sculptures on its bronze doors, dubbed by Michelangelo the Gates of Paradise. About 400 meters from the cathedral is the Piazza della Signoria and the Fountain of Neptune, the work of sculptor Bartolomeo Ammanati. A wedding present for Francesco I de' Medici and Joanna of Austria in 1565, it has never been as popular with the locals as with visitors, and has been vandalized, used as a wash basin, bombed by the Bourbons in 1848, and is now under close surveillance by the authorities. Few cities in the world can boast of having had as great an influence on world culture as Florence. One need only mention a few of her most famous children: Michelangelo, Botticelli, Dante, Machiavelli, and that's not to mention some of her more modern charms. Our trip to Florence ends with a little time to do some shopping. And where else but in the birthplace of so many styles and fashions can you find so many prestigious shops together on one street? Florence has been wonderful. Now, to finish off our day, let's step back from city life to get a taste of the Tuscan countryside. Tuscany has been a prosperous and well-known wine region for centuries, and the Fattoria Il Poggio vineyard has over a millennium of experience. The first wines were bottled here in 845 AD. Nowadays, winemaking is a mix of ancient traditions and modern-day know-how. The vineyards produce over a dozen different wines, with production evenly distributed between red and white. Today we have the chance to sample some of these Tuscan vintages. With antipasti to start us off, with each sip we get a sense of uncovering the secrets of this countryside. As with all good tastings, the wines are sampled in a specific sequence, the better to taste the subtleties of each bottle and avoid one overpowering the next. To finish it all off, we'll try a Vino Santo, or holy wine, a traditional Tuscan dessert wine, often made from white grapes such as Trebbiano and Malvasia. The name probably comes from the tradition of using sweet wine for Mass, but another story involves a 14th century friar who used leftover wine from Mass to miraculously cure the sick. Whatever the origins of the name, this mild and sweet wine has a complex aroma and fills our mouths with the subtle flavors of the fruits of the Tuscan sun. After this wonderful day in Italy, once we're back aboard, it's time to take it easy and be pampered. Located on Deck 10, Spa Del Mar offers many different treatments to soothe both body and soul. Once again, we are going to trust ourselves to the expertise of the Pullmantur crew to help choose the best treatment from the wide range of services offered. Surrendering completely, we put ourselves in our masseuse's expert hands to relax in full security and comfort on our dream cruise. Let yourself be carried away as the ship slips into the night towards our final destination, Monte Carlo. Overnight, we've traveled from the port of Livorno in Italy to Monte Carlo, one of Monaco's 11 districts. With an area of less than 2 square kilometers and bordered by France on land and the Mediterranean on the sea, it is the world's richest country per capita and has an average life expectancy of nearly 90 years. It is a playground for millionaires and billionaires. We need only look at some of the shops to know we're in the lap of luxury. One of Monte Carlo's main attractions is its casino. This prestigious Baroque building was built in 1879 and is located in the heart of the Principality. Fans of Formula One racing will recognize the casino from one of the most beautiful turns in the circuit, the Virage du Casino. In front are beautiful terraced gardens overlooking the Mediterranean. We are really in a playground of the rich and famous, popular with the biggest stars in the world. Before we lose our shirts at the No Limits table in the casino, let's head back to our own slice of the good life to enjoy one last dinner aboard. The Fusion Bar and Lounge on Deck 12 offers Asian and European cuisine à la carte. Enjoy the relaxed atmosphere and some of the best cocktails on the ship for a perfect last night aboard our dream cruise. The view from Deck 12 adds to the mood, and with gentle lounge music playing, the ship will weigh anchor to return to our starting point of Barcelona. We'll want to be on deck to enjoy our last approach on this Mediterranean dream cruise. As we prepare to disembark with suitcases in hand, the staff we've grown to know so well is there to see us off and remind us of what a wonderful cruise this was. The magic of this all-inclusive cruise on the Sovereign was that wherever we went, whatever we did on board, we were treated as if we were more than simply passengers. We were made to feel that we were in the best company, encouraged to get to know our fellow guests, and that every question or request we had was important to the crew traveling with us. The memory of this dream cruise will last a lifetime. And as we leave the Sovereign, we won't say goodbye, but rather see you next time on Dream Cruises.